am really thrilled about this. This is a God thing, isn't it?
This is totally a God thing.
I know.
Totally a God thing.
I know.
We're super excited.
So tell me all about it. You serve several different counties, right?
We do.
Okay.
We do. So currently we're covering Pasco, Pinellas, and Hillsborough.
Okay,
So
perfect.
that's a lot for one chamber. So if you consider that most chambers cover a much smaller area, consider just even Pasco, I think we have 5 in Pasco, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they kind of overlap each other because people live and work and do commerce in their, their own little communities.
Sure.
So this is a really large undertaking to cover so many counties, but we're the only Christian Chamber of Commerce. So
that's what you were saying.
We have a large group of people to reach. So that's our first goal.
I didn't know that there was a Christian Chamber of Commerce, but I thought about it because we started our charity show, and I thought, oh, wouldn't it be cool if there was a Christian Chamber of Commerce? One ring-a-dingy, two. Here she's calling me, Clara Rose, going, oh, hi, John told me to call you.
Yeah.
So here we are. So tell me, the last time we spoke, I did have you on the show when you were doing the coffee shop,
Yep.
and that was always fun.
Yes.
And I attended some of the meetup groups over there. So what made you, were you doing something like this way back, were you a member at that time, or how did you get involved?
So it was God. It's totally God's
It's always
idea,
a God thing.
It's a God thing. So I sold the coffee shop. I kind of knew that God was leading me in a different direction. And of course, for many years, I've done consulting and writing services. And I had created, it took about 3 years to create the Savvy Business Builder training program. So that's professional and business development for believers. So it's a faith-based program. And it took me about 3 years to really build that out. And I knew that God was calling my heart to professional development for believers. So I knew that. So I'm like, okay, God's got this, it's going to be about the Savvy Business Builders, right? So I'm building this. I had an opportunity to sell the coffee shop. And I thought, I think I'm supposed to sell the coffee shop. So I sold the coffee shop, right? Only owned it for a year and a half. I started it.
I remember.
From scratch. Only owned it for a year and a half, sold it. Took about a month in the transition. And I'm like, okay, now what am I doing? All right, Lord, what's next, right? And I just went back to doing some consulting, doing some writing, working on my Savvy Business Builder, this training program for believers. And then out of the blue one day, Laurie Hill is our founder and was our CEO 4 years ago. She founded the chamber. And she reached out to me to say, Clara, you are super connected. Help me find a new CEO. We're actively looking for a CEO, and I know you know people. So now what she might have been saying was, Clara, do you want to be the...
I think so.
But she didn't say that. She just said, who do you know, right? And I'm like, I'll totally help you find somebody. I know a ton of people. I would love to help you find somebody. Send me over what you're looking for, right? So she sent it over, and I'm reading it. Okay, I want somebody who can find speakers for our monthly luncheon and plan the luncheons. Somebody who can speak. I'm like, oh, well, I graduated the Speakers Academy. Somebody who can do some trainings to help with, build up the training side of things. And so she rolled out all of these things, and I'm reading it thinking, this is me. She's looking for me. Like, so there was this weird moment. And so I shot her an email back, and I'm like, me, I think, this sounds like me. And she's like, oh my gosh, do you think you're interested? We're typing this, right? Would you be interested? I'm like, well, I'll pray about it, right? So I'm like, I like working for myself, I'll pray about it, right? And then we do that. If someone asks us to do something, I'll pray about it. So on the way home, I'm like, all right, Lord, if you want me to do this, this is going to be clear, crystal clear. I need to know that you're telling me to do this, right? Because this is a huge undertaking.
No doubt.
Huge. 3 counties, huge undertaking. Not that I doubt that I could do the work, but huge responsibility, right? We're unifying the Christian business community to glorify God, my Savior of my soul. Okay? Big calling. So I'm like, all right, Lord, it's got to be really clear. And I went home and told my husband, I'm praying about this. And he's like, okay, well, okay, whatever. And the next morning, and this is how God works, right? The next morning we're having our morning devotional. And we're reading have our Bible out, and this devotional that we're following, and every day it's about something different, right? So guess what it's about this day? What are you doing for the kingdom of God?
Oh my goodness.
I think I'm supposed to do this, honey. And he says, you better apply. And so I told her I'm applying. So I applied. I think they interviewed like 6 people or something, and they offered me the job. But the second that I told Laurie, I'm going to apply, I think I'm supposed to do this, God started already working and seeding things in my heart. So I already started planning, okay, we could do this to grow, and then we could do that. And so all this, before they ever hired me, was all already birthed in my heart.
See? Well, that made it a little bit easier once the job offer came along, right?
So, yeah, it didn't really matter what the job offer was, because I already knew that God was calling my heart to do it. It meant setting aside what I had built with Savvy Business Builders, this training program, setting it aside, and I'm hopeful that we can use it, pieces of it, because professional development is super important, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
So I kind of had to set that aside and say, okay, Lord, if this is where you want me, this is what you want me to do, all of this that I've done in my life, the Speakers Academy and, writing books and being published in articles, all this has led me to this job, for such a time as this, perhaps.
Yes.
So
it's funny how once we recognize that being led, that is the truest of all words. Is when you know you're being led, and it's kind of hard to really explain that. You just know when you know.
Yeah.
Right?
And if you're not a believer, then you may not understand that. But when God calls your heart as a believer, you obey. You act in obedience.
Exactly. Getting the message out is huge, especially with the business community and all these counties that you are taking over.
It's large.
But I have a
plan.
I have a feeling you're going to reach your goals. And so tell our viewers what your goal is that you told me just before we opened the show.
Okay, so my very first goal is 300 members in 3 years. So it really, that comes from Gideon, in the Bible, the story of Gideon, where God had him take just 300. He had more, but God said, no, you can't have that many. Kept cutting him. So he took 300 and went and, Amalekites? Who? Somebody tell me who. Somebody knows who they were fighting. But God sent him with 300. No, this is what you need, is the 300. And that Laurie talked about the 300 of Gideon, and then Saul, one of our board members, was talking about. I'm like, that's it. Yeah, so there's my first goal, 300 members in 3 years. Now, that's a small number of people, but here's how I see it. So we have 300, and we're going to take over Tampa Bay for Jesus.
I love that.
Okay.
that is like music to my ears. Okay. Isn't that? I mean, really, think about it. So you've got it all laid. I think you had this pretty much all laid out even before you took the job.
I totally have a plan. I had it all the pieces just came together in my head before they ever even offered it to me. I looked at it and said, okay, and of course, that's just the way God works. I'm like, okay, here's the missing piece. They need professional development. We need ambassadors, and this is how they'll be most effective, and we need these people for this. And so I have it all just mapped out in my head, a vision for how we can really impact Tampa Bay for the glory of God, which is our vision.
Exactly. Well, I'm just thrilled to have you here on the show.
Thank you.
And if we can help get more of the information out there into the community, I think it's going to be fabulous. I invited you to join us on our charity show anytime, and we could just cross-promote back and forth. It's a good thing. It's a very, very good thing.
And the Chamber, of course, has a bunch of ministries, charities as part of it. So I think it'd be a great place to bring some of those people.
Absolutely.
Talk about what it is that they're doing in our communities. They're doing really amazing things in our communities.
And that's, I like to think that that's kind of what we do here as far as being a voice for the community. Tampa Bay Multimedia gives back in so many ways here, and I'm kind of like one of the voices, one small little voice, but if I can use that to help get a message out there and promote what you're doing. We have business owners that are actually going to be coming up here and
Yes.
talking about their
Members.
business and being members. And you have, I think, two new and one seasoned member.
So actually, two of them are seasoned. Our president is here today.
Okay.
And he is a longtime member. And then one of our longtime ambassadors. She has also been here, or been with the chamber since the beginning. And then we have a brand new member who just joined. So they're going to talk about
exciting.
their business, and then of course talk about the chamber and how they're connected, what the chamber is doing for them and for their business. So
It's perfect.
tied together.
We just have a couple of minutes before we take our break.
Okay.
But I do want to, I wanted to ask you throughout the show, and our guests, the members are going to, and they're more than welcome to chime in as well, is obviously it's a Christian chamber.
Right.
So the difference being is just that.
Yes.
But I want to know more about how you're making it different with businesses and the different meetings and the different things that you're doing for the community, so that we can maybe invite more people to join up.
Okay.
And you've got such an area to cover.
We do, but there's a plan for that.
Yeah.
So the plan, of course, is that we will grow smaller pockets of people in local areas for networking, professional development, leadership growth, those kinds of things. And then everyone from those pockets come to our monthly meeting. We meet at Ruth Eckerd Hall the third Wednesday of every month. And we have a luncheon. So we have somebody come and talk to us about God in the workplace, bringing God into our work, whether we own our own business and we're Christians, or we're Christians who actually work in the marketplace in somebody else's business. So they come and talk to us about that. We have a little bit of network and we have a lovely meal. It's kind of like you go to church and you learn at church, maybe do some corporate worship, but then we go out into smaller homes for the small group where relationships are built and depth is found. Personal relationships lead to commerce. Okay, so there's full circle back to us being, we are a chamber of commerce. Commerce is supposed to happen, but we're going to do it like the early church did it. We meet in small groups, then we're going to come together corporately and learn something together. So that's kind of the vision that I have.
I really think this is fabulous, and I think too, bringing people with closer relationships when it comes to business ethics and in the workplace, doing the right thing, and really walking your talk in business.
Right.
And it's just a good mix of wonderful things that you guys are doing. I can't wait a year from now to hear
to see where we're at.
All of you have done.
Me too. Already really incredible things are happening. I'm super excited.
No doubt.
To see where we end up.
It's really fun when you do recognize those messages, you know, when you get the divine intervention, as they say, and it's something so different than when you have just an idea of your own.
Yes, absolutely.
It's almost like a lightning bolt. It's something that just...
As a believer, you know when God's speaking to your heart.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I can't wait till we bring out our guests that are going to be talking too. We have our president going to be joining us. And every fourth Wednesday, I want you to mark that on your calendar and tell everyone and anyone you know that we are doing on webeamtv.com at 3:30 every fourth Wednesday, the Christian Chamber of Commerce. Clara is going to be joining me as my co-host, and we'll have some fabulous guests. You're going to learn more and more about pulling your spirit into the workplace and all the different things. I'm loving that luncheon down at Ruth Eckerd Hall.
Yes, come join us.
Yes. Awesome. We're going to take a break.
All right, let's take a break.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Okay.
Welcome back in, everyone, to My Chamber TV, the heartbeat of the Tampa Bay community. I'm Barbara Marville. Thank you so much for joining me. We have Ms. Clara Rose, CEO of the Christian Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
And it's not unfamiliar to many faces out there. It's been around for 4 years,
4
right?
years.
All right.
Yep.
But it's going to get more known.
Yes, that's our
and
goal.
Right from the beginning, Patrick Mazza, you
Yes,
are
that's
president
correct.
of the chamber.
Yes, I am.
And we're just having way too much fun during the break. Let me just tell you. So I know you're going to be a hoot. You started this way back when,
Yes.
and you were telling me that you missed your first meeting. I mean, that was a great impression.
Laurie Hill, the original CEO, asked me to be on the board, and I was on the board, and I said that was the meeting I missed. He said, "Oh, by the way, Pat, you're now president."
Was that like payback or something? No.
I'm kidding.
So how's that been?
It's going great. I've really grown with the chamber, and I found out a lot about the chamber myself. I found out there's only 18 Christian chamber of commerces in the country, and they're the
Really?
closest one was Christian Chamber of Commerce in Orlando. So we formed the Christian Chamber of Commerce Tampa Bay, and it kind of served the 3 different county areas. But we're definitely growing. I really enjoyed being president.
That is very, very exciting. Now, you also have your own business, Mazza Baker Insurance and Financial Services.
That's
Tell us a
correct.
little bit about that.
5 years ago, I specialize in commercial insurance. We
Okay.
do workers' comp, we do general liability. We help business, any insurance a business might need, we help them. We also do payroll only, so if your company is looking for payroll, we can help you out. And we also lease employees. So if your company is looking for you're leasing your employees back from a leasing company, we can help you out. And we're kind of unique in that way.
I guess so. Well, it's a perfect fit.
It is.
It's a perfect fit.
Well, again, insurance is very competitive. If you would have told me I would have been doing insurance in my college, I would have said you're crazy. But here I am today, 25 years later. I've been owning a commercial insurance agency.
Wow. Well,
Really exciting.
Yeah, I guess so. And being part of the Christian Chamber, you know, I can see how that would fit. And I wanted to ask both of you, and just chime in however you like. What are you seeing in the last 4 years, the difference? Now, I kind of have that answer in my head and my heart, but I want to hear it from you guys as far as, you know, introducing being a Christian in business today.
Well, we've come a long way as far as being able to openly speak about Jesus in the workplace. Really, the more and more we meet with people, I love talking about it, and that's, I think, well, I'm also in charge of membership, and part of my job is when I meet people, I ask them, what has Jesus done to affect you and help you in your business? And after we start talking, I say, well, you need to come down and join our lunch group, because we love to have it. It's what our chamber's all about. How has Jesus helped you and affected your business?
That's really good. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
And plus, like I said, there's so many people that when you open up and talk about Jesus, they're just full of ideas, and it's nice to talk to fellow Christian people that have like mind and talk about their business as well. I'm not scared to talk about it in the business place.
Right. Yeah, because that's kind of frustrating. This way, it's all like minds and like hearts to be able to do that.
It is. And like I said, we have such wonderful speakers every month. I take away something every month from some of our speakers that are just incredible speakers. And I think we're different than your normal chamber. A lot of chambers, you know, they're all about business, but when you hear what our speakers, they're uplifting, and you leave feeling really good after the meeting.
So your speakers, give me an idea on a couple of speakers when they come in that really...
One of the speakers today, I really to this day, John Rivers, founder of Four River Smokehouse. He started as a businessman, and he got up and told his story, and it wasn't in the restaurant business at all. And on weekends, he would make food and give it to charity and certain ministries, and it got to grow more and more, and he'd donate whatever wasn't left. And he told one story, the food that he donated ended up making its way back to someone's house in Georgia, and he said someone ate their food, and he said, you know who we got a call back from the next day? The president of Chick-fil-A said, I just ate your food, I got to meet you.
See that?
And it was just, God works mysterious ways, and I've always found it amazing, and he slowly grew out of the business world, and now he has 11 locations, And he's a very successful restaurant. He's got the best barbecue. John Rivers, great guy.
Wow, that is exciting. Well, I can imagine listening to, well, we were talking about everybody has a story.
Absolutely.
We all have those stories, and being touched. In business, I could never understand why some businesses, I just, don't even get me started on it, why you can't talk about God, you can't talk about Jesus. My goodness, when did the first Christian chamber start? Do you know? I don't mean to put you on the spot. I'm just curious.
I don't even know.
How long has it been?
Ours
Yeah.
was 3 years, 3 years ago exactly. And before we're the Christian Chamber of Commerce, Tampa Bay, well, Lori was in charge of the Christian Business Connections, or CBC. So,
Which was networking group.
It was a networking
Right,
group, and,
right.
and again, that's what started. And that's what got me following, because I went to the CBC, as we call it. It's like, wow, this is different, and we the same format that was successful there. You know, Lori had this is Lori's godchild. She came up with this idea that we need to have a chamber, a Christian chamber, and it's grown to what it is. We have 96 members today, and anywhere, honestly, if you come to one of our meetings, we have anywhere from 50 to 80 members that attend our meetings once a month, and it's growing.
That's fabulous. John's chomping at the bit saying, Jesus, he was a networker, he was a networker.
He
And you're
totally
right,
was a
John.
networker.
You're absolutely right.
He was.
But yeah, exactly. But to have this formed and to be going out into the community, and I mean, this was divine intervention for you to come on to My Chamber TV and fill this time slot, and we hope to have you for a long, long time. Yes, God did open it up, John. You bet God opened it up.
We're so gracious God brought Clara to us, because obviously Lori was after she resigned. We kept looking for a CEO, and we interviewed many qualified people.
I'm sure.
And God brought us to Clara, and she's doing a fantastic job for us. And we have great plans to grow our organization, and we're excited about it.
Well, I'll tell you, this is very, very exciting. To be able to just answer the calling in business. Well, and it's funny, as I grow with the chamber, even, you know, I had an employee that knew I was Christian minded, and I could tell something was troubling her, and she opened up to me, knowing that I was involved in the organization. She was talking about her son that was incarcerated, and you know, at work we sat and prayed right there, and it was nice that she felt confident enough that she could talk to me about that at work. And that's what it's all about, not being afraid to open up to your Christian fellows, and just I find myself more and more stopping and praying for somebody, and I never used to do that before. If I see someone that's having trouble, and I just say, well, can I pray for you? And it's something I didn't do, and it's helped me grow as an individual. Of course, absolutely. And as we continue to grow, and we touch more people. That's why I love having the show here, because this show will be archived.
Wonderful.
So it's being born today,
Wonderful.
and we'll just keep adding to it. And I see many different spin-offs from the show as well, so that we can help get the message out there. Let's talk real quickly about the different counties again, just in case we have new viewers just coming on board with us.
Pasco, Pinellas, and Hillsborough. So that's what we cover currently. So someday, God's going to give us more, but right now, that's big enough.
And you've got plenty to do, right?
Plenty to do, that's right. But yeah, I mean, that's a huge territory to cover, but there's so much need for God in the workplace, integrity to be brought into the workplace, for our very vision to unify Christian businesses to glorify God. We have our work cut out for us.
Well,
for sure.
one of the benefits of being a member is we have our leadership connector groups we have as many, I think we're up to 6 now, that are run by 2 of our members. And basically you go in and you talk about different areas. It's a little bit more personalized. There's like 6 to 12 members per group, and it allows you to open up about your business and be a little bit more personal about Jesus. And maybe not the questions you weren't able to ask in the large meetings, you get to address in the smaller meetings, and talk about your business and see if we come together as a group to help solve any problems you're having as a business. So one of the benefits is helping your business grow.
That's wonderful. Are you finding in the 4 years that you mentioned integrity, which is huge. It's huge in business. and that whole know, like, and trust factor and everything. Are you finding a little bit more of a relaxed feeling with doing business with people in the Christian chamber? That may sound like a really dumb question.
That's not a dumb question at all. I absolutely am instantly more comfortable with somebody when I know they're a believer as well.
Yes.
Right? We're children of God. There's kinship, right?
That's
we
right.
instantly have a connection because we're
Yes.
believers, right?
That's correct.
And so I have a certain expectation of you as a believer, right? That I can expect certain things out of you. I can expect integrity in business. I can expect you to be honest and open with me. I should be able to come to you and say, let's pray, right? Or we need to talk, and that there's going to be something given to me that you're not going to get with a non-believer. I just expect it.
Well, let's face it, in business, the only thing you have is your word.
Yes,
It's
I
not
agree.
worth it to be any other way but truthful.
See, and that's
agree.
what I agree. I agree. Yeah, I think that
Can't really
that is
argue with that one.
That's it. That's it.
No, absolutely, and walking the talk in business, you know,
Yeah.
and say what you mean what you say, and I just think it's fabulous. I'm so excited about this.
And you know what I'm also finding that I love is believers. Not that you that you have to be a believer to have a huge heart, but believers tend to have really huge hearts, right? They're super compassionate and they want to make the world around us better, right? They just
Yes.
do. So
Yes.
you're coming side by side with other people who also love the Lord, who are in business, and together we can do some amazing things in the world around us.
Well, and the one thing I've made some wonderful friends, and the other thing I have to love about our group, my friends, is they've helped me through some tough times, illnesses, sicknesses. We have our board that we put out special prayer requests. We need everybody to pray for this person, and that's special. And we all sit there, and one time we even formed at 8 o'clock on Tuesday night. Everyone's just going to get together and pray. It's just spontaneous. So I love the fact that we have that connection, that closeness of our group, that we can ask, hey, I know someone is having problems with this. Can we all pray for them? And that helped me personally get through some tough times in my life.
That's awesome. I can't thank you enough.
Well, thank you.
I know we're going to see you again.
Absolutely. I'm glad to be a part of your show. And thank you as the
Thank
host.
you.
And a welcome aboard.
Thank you
I'm
so
glad to be
much.
here.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take a break and
Okay.
introduce our next guests/members, and we'll be
Perfect.
right back after this.
All right.
Perfect. Thank you.
And welcome back, everyone, to My Chamber TV, the heartbeat of our Tampa Bay community. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly, and with me is Clara Rose, CEO of the Christian Chamber of Commerce. I love those words rolling off my tongue here today. This is a brand new show, and I know you're enjoying it out there. And of course, we'd love to hear from you. From time to time, we'll put our call-in number at the bottom of the screen. But we are now going to introduce Christy Branham, a new member,
Brand new.
a really new member, like this last week.
Yes,
Brand new.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
What made you join?
Well, like Clara said, I've known Clara for a while now, so that had something to do with it. But as far as a chamber itself, it kind of goes back to a little over 6 years ago when I moved to Florida. I didn't know a single soul, as I was telling them when I moved here. And so one thing or two things I knew about not knowing people and needing to know people is there's two great places to go and resources that I've known for a lot of years in business is you go to a chamber and you go to church.
There you
So
go.
those are the first two things that I sought after moving here and not knowing anyone. It was I need to get involved in chambers and I need to get involved in a church, and I will meet people, and that will help me with business, with my personal growth, and with my spiritual growth.
Well, boy, you just had it all figured out. Where'd you come from?
I'm originally from South Carolina.
Oh, okay. So your business is Core Strategy Innovations. Tell us
Correct.
about that.
We are a marketing and public relations event planning firm.
Oh.
And we do a variety of projects, from marketing materials to event planning. That's a very large portion of our business. Sometimes businesses take their own shape, no matter what we intend for them to be. Sometimes they take their own shape, which I'm not disappointed about at all because I enjoy event planning. And that's kind of how I met Clara, is through some networking groups that I was working with, and some friends in those networking groups took me over to her coffee shop, and that's how we originally met. So
How about that, over coffee at
over
your coffee
coffee,
shop?
yeah, coffee's a great thing.
No, isn't it?
And I had great coffee.
And she did
I
have
had
the best
really good
coffee.
John, our producer's saying she has the best
It was
coffee.
the best coffee.
Yeah,
It was the best
exactly.
coffee, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it is awesome coffee. So you joined just recently. I'm thinking that she is going to be a gem for you
Absolutely. Absolutely.
gem.
Yep.
in planning events and everything. So I don't dare ask if you've gotten started, or do I?
We have already started collaborating on projects.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What's happening? What's going on?
Well, we're working on some small group things and trying to plan those in the pockets, as they were speaking of earlier, what pockets we want, where we want them, and the kind of meetings, events, and locations we want to have them at.
Very good. How do you determine where to put these pockets, or the ones that are already, they're there, and then you grow
And building
from
and
that?
expanding on the ones that are
Right,
there, as
that
well
are
as
already
going
there.
into some territories where maybe we don't have enough,
Right.
a lot of people at right now.
I see.
So because we're so spread out, the people who step forward and say, hey, I'm willing, I'll be an ambassador, I'll be,
Yes.
a builder in this area. You're not going to find somebody in Wesley Chapel who's going to start a Trinity group, right? They're going to start a Wesley Chapel group because that's where they live and work. So it's really about who steps forward and says, hey, how can I get involved? And Christy's just one of those people naturally. I'm going to get involved. I want to be involved, right? If I'm going to join this, I'm going to do this, right?
Exactly.
So how can I be more involved? So that started the process before she'd even signed the paperwork. She's like, I'm going to get involved. How do I do this right?
Exactly.
Oh, that's fantastic. That
We
really
need
is.
those people.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Committed people are committed people, and they jump in with both feet, pretty much.
Right.
And then the whole body, and then you have them forever. It's
Yep.
just, it's really great. So how long have you been doing the event planning?
Well, I've been doing event planning for a long time, but my business, Core Strategy Innovations, is a fairly new company. It's about 2 years old. And so we've been doing the event planning here in this area for about 2 years. But I've been working on event planning for a lot of years.
That is quite an undertaking.
It
You
is, it
must
can be.
love attention to detail and planning and all of that.
Coordinating. So
Oh,
I think that's the big word that kind of revolves around me, is coordinating. I
yes.
coordinate a lot.
Yes, yes. So you obviously must have attention to detail.
Somewhat,
get
and when
that
I don't, I
done.
talk to Clara, because she does.
Pass the buck to Clara. Clara will figure it
She has a
out.
lot of attention to detail.
We have we have different strengths, but we think a lot alike. So she'll call me and say, okay, I need to know about such and such, or I'll call her and say, okay, this is a marketing question. Let's talk about such and such. So it's a great partnership.
Right.
So did you belong to any other chambers down here? When did you come down?
When a little over 6 years ago, I
Yeah.
moved to this area, and the first chamber that I joined was the West Pasco Chamber of Commerce and Generations Christian Church. So I knew I had to join chamber, I had to join church. So that's how I kind of got involved. And then I've been a part of several other networking groups throughout the time, and some of the other chambers as well. So when Clara took this role, I'll be honest, I think I had heard her mention it before she took the role, before it even came about, the role itself. But it was just a mention, and I didn't really, like yourself, I didn't really truly know that there was a Christian chamber. But when she took on the role, I was like, yeah, I'm going to be involved with you.
Isn't that, that's so nice. I love to hear these
But,
stories.
God does put you in places for a reason, and
No
I think
doubt.
that's part of it, is, I feel like God led me to Clara. My best friend took me to her coffee shop, and my best friend was getting ready to move in about 6 months. And we knew that, and was like, oh, this is really stinks, my best friend's moving.
Aww.
And I didn't know Clara. I didn't know of the coffee shop, which is a great coffee, and my best friend knew I like coffee. But when she took me there and I met Clara, I mean, it was just immediate. And so I love my best friend, and I miss her being away, and we still have great communication. And she has carried a lot of her trends and communications with some other Christian organizations here to where she is, and helping grow there. But that relationship she introduced me to with Clara has, created this business environment that if I need something, I'm there for Clara. If Clara needs something, she's going to be there for me. And I think that's what happens when you get involved in organizations, and if you're truly committed to them, is that it does create that harmony and that involvement together.
And that's really what you said. A key word is harmony, harmony and melding the two together with Christianity and businesses. Very, very much needed. Absolutely. I think it's fabulous. You must be excited being brand new and on the TV show already.
A little nervous for what else she has up her sleeve, but I am excited.
I'm sure she has the confidence. Oh, that is exciting.
It's not too scary. Come on.
No, it's not too bad.
No.
I can't really ask you how the business, well, since you're brand new, how the chamber has affected you in your business and engaging, but I have a feeling you know.
It's ironic that you say that, because I haven't been involved for very long, but in that short period of time, she's already called me. She goes, there's this guy in our chamber, he needs your help. And I'm like, just here a week or two. So it's amazing how, God works in those ways. It's a nonprofit. I do a lot of nonprofit charity work as well in my business. And they need some help in marketing.
And that was just, you guys, I need, pray about this. I'm looking for X. And I'm like, I know that person. And so I made the connection. So that's why, they're always saying, get involved, get involved, get involved. Well, get involved, right? Get involved, because that's how, get plugged in, build relationships. And that's where the business is going to come from.
Absolutely.
That is exciting. Now, what charities are you involved with?
Well, I recently just did a fundraising, it was a campaign basically for the West Chase Charitable Foundation in Tampa.
Okay.
And I also work with a local doctor in the Pasco area for his charity and fundraising events every year. And I've worked with some of the local breast cancer charities as well. Okay. And then I work with some of the networking groups, and their different projects that they take on, and some of them become charity-based as well. So it's some of the networking groups, and then we'll run a fundraising event and collect for charity.
That's very neat. Love it. Well, we have My Charity TV.
I just heard that today, so that's exciting.
So just keep us in mind, and I have barely even started to book, because everybody I ask want to come on, so let us know if you have some events coming up.
Absolutely.
And give us a few weeks, like if you want to come on and promote to it, and then you can use the show to help do the fundraisers and
Absolutely, we will certainly do that.
Yeah, we usually have on our other Chamber of Commerce shows, we'll have a chamber member that is a charity, with a foundation or an event coming up.
Right.
But there's just only so much time in an hour that you can do, And somehow I see these shows growing and growing, possibly taking on more hours because there is a need for it with many, many, many charities in the area. So always feel free. You're more than welcome. It's an open door to come on to our charity show, as well as you, my friend.
Thank you.
So do you have
I will.
anything lined up, coming up in the next few weeks that you want to talk about?
Well, we're getting ready to launch a new division in my business. It's a medical insurance and legal segment of our marketing ventures, and that's a new segment that's we're really excited about.
Oh.
And it's geared more towards not only helping those industries, which are the 3 industries I have the most experience in my professional life with, so I wanted to find a way to encompass all of them. So we're very excited about that division, but it's also geared towards educating the community and the public about health, legal issues, what their insurance options are, and things like that. Just bringing education to the consumer that otherwise they may not get, they may not know where to go to. So we're going to try to just, bombard them with a bunch of very helpful information and get it going virally and that kind of thing, and social media, and just really push out a lot of healthy, good stuff for people to know
Good
about.
for you. I love
That's a
hearing
resource, right?
It's a resource. It's
Good.
purely
It's like
marketing.
Yo Team or Yo
Miles.
Yo Miles,
Yeah,
that was it.
It's called Yo
That was
Miles, so
cute.
that you can, call up, and Miles obviously stands for medical, insurance, legal, experience solutions.
Great. That's awesome. Time for a break.
Okay.
Stay with us. We're going to be right back after this. We're going to bring Patrick back because he's just too much fun to let go. Hi, everyone. Welcome into my Chamber TV. We have a full house right now, and I'm going to start to my right with Clara Rose, who's CEO of the Christian Chamber of Commerce. And then we had to bring our president back, Mr. Patrick Mazza, who was just too much fun. We just couldn't leave him in the background here. And we kept Christy Branham on as well, because your story is fantastic on why you joined the Chamber and why you joined Patrick. And of course, we've been hearing from Clara Rose on her story. It's all it's a God thing. It's just the whole God thing, you know?
That's our theme. It's a God thing.
It's a God thing, exactly. So you were saying during the break that you wanted to put a shout out, a call out for what you need, and that's what this whole platform is all about. So go right ahead.
Thank you. We are looking specifically for speakers, faith-based individuals, of course, to come and speak at our monthly luncheon to talk about bringing God into the workplace. So if you are a speaker and you would like to come speak for us, please give me a shout.
Perfect. That's going to be exciting.
And to piggyback on that, we're also looking for ambassadors. Ambassadors, if you want to help put together business lunches and help with the registration, we're always looking for ambassadors. So if you want to be part of our team, contact myself or Clara, and we'll be glad to help you out as well.
Great. How about you? Are you looking for anybody?
Not at the moment.
But you will
But
be.
I'm sure that with all that she's
Clara's going to make sure you're going to be looking for somebody. I know.
I have plans for her.
She's good at delegating.
I bet. Hey, that's the key.
That's leadership, honey.
That is leadership. Delegate, delegate, delegate.
Well, I can't do it all myself,
No.
right?
That's
Like,
right.
we can't take over Tampa for Jesus with one person.
No.
Right? We need
No.
an army.
No,
That's
that's
right.
true. That is really
So
true.
I'm calling an army.
Calling it. I think we may need several. But so anything you just want to talk about that we haven't covered, that maybe I haven't asked you any questions about the Christian Chamber of Commerce? This is the first brand new show. Let's go back and just kind of recap on the counties and what your, just everybody chime in and what your plans are with the different pockets that you're pulling together to make it massive, to make it huge.
Okay. So definitely we're covering a large area, all of Pasco, all of Pinellas, and all of Hillsborough. So someday beyond, but definitely for now, that's where we're starting. And that's a huge undertaking to get to spread that large as a chamber. So we're going to do that with small pockets of activity. So in maybe West Pasco and East Pasco and maybe in between even, and maybe splitting the other counties north and south because they're the longer, skinnier this direction. Pockets of people getting together for networking, right? So that we can really build relationship, which is going to lead organically to commerce. Some pockets of people getting together for leadership connector groups, where we're talking about God, bringing God into the workplace, but also supporting each other in business, helping each other with our businesses. Small groups of skill building workshops, so people can say, oh, there's a workshop in my area that I can zip over to, take this class really quick, and zip back to work, right? You can't necessarily zip to South Pinellas from where we're at right now for an hour class without taking your day or half your day. So all of the different areas where we cover, we're going to have little pockets of people getting together for either professional development, leadership development, or networking. So that's how we're going to grow and cover this massive area, these little pockets of people.
Well, I just want to add, it's really easy to remember when our meetings are. They're always the third Wednesday of every month. They're always from 12 to 1:30, and they're at Ruth Eckerd Hall. We'd love to have you join us. We're always looking, if you want to come out, if you heard something you like today, you want to meet us, please come out and join us. And all the information is on our website, www.c3tb.org. It gives you a list of all our upcoming speakers. It shows you who our board members are. It allows you to register for the lunches and find out a wealth of information. www.c3tb.org is where you'll find all the information you need to attend our meetings.
Very good, thank you. We have
Good
2
job.
minutes. That was excellent. Boy, I know for sure he's coming back.
Don't call me president for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, in this last 2 minutes, I'm going to ask you that strong question that I asked you earlier on your membership and bringing people in. How do you do that?
So how do you do that? I think it happens at the local level. That's where it happens. It's having coffee with that person and telling them, hey, we'd love to have you come out to the Chamber of Commerce. Building that group of ambassadors who are out there helping make people aware that we exist. Having those area or those group, those developers of specific regions. So it takes an army. It really takes an army of people to make that happen.
Well, and the other thing, it's the one-on-ones that occur after the meetings that are so
Right.
valuable. During the meetings, there's so much going on. We highly encourage you to set a one-on-one on with somebody. The networking part of it occurs before and after, and that's where your businesses grow. Find out more about the businesses themselves.
Right.
This really is truly building solid relationships right down to the core, right down to your soul.
Yep.
And I really feel that in businesses, that integrity, that incredible, important word, integrity, is strong. So I want to thank all of you guys for joining us today on our very first Chamber Show on the Christian Chamber of Commerce. And we will be here every fourth Wednesday, so mark your calendar, 3:30, and every third. This is the same Wednesday that you guys have your luncheon then?
The third
the
Wednesday.
third
Or the third,
You're
excuse me,
fourth,
we're the
we're
fourth.
third.
So it is on a Wednesday,
Yes,
but
it
it's the
is.
third Wednesday down at Ruth Eckerd.
Ruth Eckerd Hall,
Yep.
12 to
Yeah.
1:30.
Yeah, so you'll have to tell everybody to watch the show at the luncheon.
We will.
We will, yes.
And recruit for guests.
Yes. Well, and I talked about it on Wednesday that the show was coming up, our first show.
Exactly.
And that if you wanted to be in on that,
All right.
to reach
Thank
out
you.
to me. So.
All right. Thank you for joining
Thank
us.
you.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys. Bye.